What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Technically, another red candle on the SPY, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit of a high wave as we just waited for the Nvidia earnings. But we got AJ in the house. Good morning to you. We got Amy. Good morning. Good morning to you. Anna, Andy, Bill, Brad, Frank, Georgia's in the house. Good morning to GW, Jeffrey, JT, Keith, Lance. Good morning to you. We got Lauren, Lucian, Malik, Marius, Martina, Michelle, Rob, Tom, Tim, Wendy. The squadron is piling in. Good morning to all you. All of you out in YouTube land. Good morning. We got Clarice. Kathleen, good morning. LC, Mustafa, Mo, JD, Jennifer. We got a couple requests coming in already. All my larkers in the background that is going to watch every single day, which I appreciate. And just still never say nothing. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. But yeah, not a whole lot of anything. And then market bulls were trying to put a stance in this morning. We even survived some economic news. We hardly got any reaction off of it. But then about 10 minutes ago, 13 minutes ago, we get Trump headlines about tariff and the date where he's still attending or still proposing to keep the tariffs in place, even though there were some early reports that said maybe not. And it's just kind of weighing down the market still. So we've given up a little bit, but a little wild roller coaster we've had so far this morning. And yeah, we're just hanging out. So the interesting thing is yesterday's candle, we need a close above that one. I think we have to get above that one, and then the pattern actually still kind of looks decent. So obviously we've had this longer term chop. We've just been doing nothing, clean break out of it. This still could be the retest. We've gone a little bit too far where we almost gave this back. But if we can start getting above it, right back above this all still could be one big test into here, and then we end up doing something like this. Vice versa, I would look for the breakdown of this candle from 2 days ago, right? So somewhere around here, if we get any closes above here, so I almost just bracket this off. Bullish, bearish, take a nap. You just fall asleep, take a nap in the zone, chop city. But we have our markers set, so we'll see which way this this way the market actually wants to break. We're probably going to need some kind of we're getting held back by still tariff talk. We have to see what happens on that, or any other real positive news. Maybe Jerome Powell could take us out. But for overall SPY, we're just hanging. We did run into the retest spot of yesterday, so 599.48. I'd be looking for that today as well. We got close. We didn't quite hit this one. $600, 616, 620, 623 cents, something like that. To the downside for today's support, we have 594.46. The next one, 593.95. If we start breaking under that, that might be a sign we start to hit the lows of the day and kind of run into a little bit panic mode into the selling to potentially close this gap, which would take us to 582.22. So chilling for now at open. Bulls are trying, but they got to try a little bit harder if they want to get us out of the zone. Same thing with the Qs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red days in a row. Nice little bounce off that 100. We are opening, so watch this opening price because we still have 24 minutes till this morning bell goes off. Otherwise, we're opening right into resistance 518. Let's call it 518.31. If we could get a move higher than that, we still have psychologically at least the high of the candle from Tuesday. We have still yesterday's high we'd have to get through. But I think the Bulls would be in much better shape, much stronger shape. You might see some buying coming in, and that could get us a bigger move up to like 523.68. Otherwise, and it is a gap and go, so we do have some Bulls that are still interested. But if we open into this resistance, you might see that pullback retest. I'm not sure where I see that retest coming into from way back over here. These are going to be weak levels, but 516.83, we'd probably be able to break that down. We got 515.58, probably be able to break that down. And this one maybe decent still. 514.18 with a full on retest 513, which we've already retested yesterday. So I think if we're starting to get down in that zone, The only thing holding us up is that 100, and everything else is kind of looking a little weak. So we'll see really where the Qs want to open. That being said, we survived on actually, first of all, let's take a look at Bitcoin because that was struggling for a little bit, getting a little saucy. Got a close underneath the 200 EMA, so that's not great. Today, trying to recover. We are right above yesterday's VPOC. We are back above that 200, so we're going to need to see that hold. And then you got resistance kind of coming in somewhere around 87, 476. See if we can break through that. If we can, and especially if we can get, where's our highest volume candle? This breakdown. Yeah, we're gonna have to get above that that's gonna be a big one. So 87, 594. If we can start getting above that, I like our odds to eventually retest at least into this 100 EMA 93, 576. Otherwise, if we get rejected, we start breaking the lows of probably today. Uh, we will probably end up seeing a little bit of a bigger dive on Bitcoin and Nvidia. Nvidia. So they reported earnings were pretty good. They came in 4.97%, beating earnings per share. They also beat on the revenue portion of things. I don't think the guidance was really that bad or really changing anything. So again, we talked about this. I'm not sure if you're still here in YouTube land, but I know that somebody was like, "Hey, I want to buy some calls or puts or play some options around Nvidia," and uh, and I kind of was not encouraging it, where just kind of going over usually what happens. I think you were expecting about a 10% move on Nvidia, and we're getting nowhere close to a 10% rally on Nvidia. So if you have bought calls or you bought puts into Nvidia, all of that theta and everything else in that contract is probably going to be slightly worthless today, even though there is a gap up. So a little bit of a premium kill on any options. If you were on vice versa, selling any calls, selling any puts, your position probably looks pretty decent today. So we will see where this one wants to go, but just keep in mind for earnings, just be very, very careful. You have to be expecting a monster move for one reason or another, have a lot of conviction, or you're buying some really far out of the money and you're just expecting to lose, but they are a little bit of a lotto ticket at that point because these option guys, they are pretty smart. They price in everything. Otherwise, watch this level somewhere right around 134.76. That could be resistance that we're just kind of pushing up into. It's a pretty decently strong one. If we can't get through it, we probably end up getting some kind of a retest, which we could get. It is a retest gap down to 130.87. And we'll see if we're just kind of hanging out in that range for today. But we'll see if the Bulls want to step in. If they could get above that previous resistance, there might be a target back to like 137.74 and a really stretched target, I think, for today would take us to 139.16 for Nvidia. But probably a little bit more to the chop side. We'll leave it relatively high on the list, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We got Coinbase, we got Tesla. We'll get to those two. Yeah, that's something in my eye. I'm not sure. Not sure what it is. We got Coinbase is again, Bitcoin looks decent. We were above yesterday's move. We have a little bit of room on this one. Looking at psychological standpoint, uh probably the highs of this candle, which we're kind of opening into from the candle from 2 days ago. And then you have that wick. Otherwise, I think you have room all the way back to 228.89. So there's plenty of room in a bullish direction. What I would love to see, and what I would love to see, and what the market does, sometimes two different things, but I would love to see a little bit of a retest pullback, specifically into this 212 zone, if we can get it. So pull back into 212, hold that. We've got two decent levels of support right there, and then look to get some kind of a bounce probably into this zone that we talked about, this 220. That would get us a lot better risk to reward. Other than that, you do have Bitcoin trying to run bullish. It does have a little bit of resistance above it as well. This one already has some room, so I'd even go, okay, maybe a high wave candle, something to that extent. Not sure why I drew the line randomly. But I'll get Coinbase up a little bit more, kind of like that one bullish. For a little retest. Again, this is a lot of selling. Bitcoin is definitely not super strong right now, so I wouldn't be holding it for major moves, but I would be looking for some kind of push into this 228, 229 zone if we can get there. We shall see. But again, a little pullback would get me at least better risk reward, and we'll see how that one wants to open. Tesla had a gap up a little bit. It's probably a well-deserved one. I did enter first level of my pyramid yesterday, so I'm in. Kind of would like to see this thing just drop, fill me at all the levels, but if all I get is level one, I'll take it. For right now, I'm saying I probably could still look to get that. I think I don't know. Still looks relatively weak. Although we got down to a very key interesting spot yesterday, right in this 288.90 zone, 288.80, something like that. So we'll see if we're gonna get some kind of a bounce, which it's probably a well-deserved bounce. You have one, two, three, four, 5 red days in a row, lots of selling. We did hit a good support. Some of those bulls probably should want to hold that, I would assume. If we cannot, if we get closes anywhere below yesterday's candle or even today, if we start breaking yesterday's lows, I think you have pretty much ultimately a flush down to the 252.95 to some extent. Some level of maybe support around 270, 72, that pivot over there. But this is kind of just where I mapped out my lines for. But other than that, like I said, I'm in. It is gapping up a little bit for the Bulls to really make some kind of impressive stance today. Well, I would say you'd have to recapture this 299.47. That also might be a decent short spot if we get back up there for today, just with the current momentum. Otherwise, if they're able to clear through that, your next big level, 303.18, if we start closing above that, you start putting in a lot of room to the bullish direction. First spot, 318.36, and then possibly back to this 332.81 before we see any consolidation or see what happens on Tesla from there. But otherwise, in a longer term basis, that was a good balance, good location we dropped into. That's definitely a spot that the Bulls have to try to save. Maybe they can do it, but let's get above 303 for a little bit more confirmation. Otherwise, inside day candles, see if it probably comes up to this 299.47. And I think attempting to look for a short just with that bearish pressure makes a lot of sense. Makes a ton of sense. I'm trying to see, say nothing, said it. I'm not sure what that's a reference to. Yeah, I'm lost. I don't know. Was that to the NVIDIA options? MDB, Mongo database. I believe this one's a little spready, so be careful of that if you were day trading it. Other than that, nice little gap up. Not earnings. They acquired, well, that's 2 days ago. So yeah, I don't know. They acquired Voyage AI for undisclosed sum, so gave them a little blank check, I guess. That was nice. That's cool. Or they didn't even want to tell us. They're, they're embarrassed of what they paid. They're like, no, but we did buy him. We're just not gonna tell you for how much. Um, Possibly a little 3 bar reversal. I do like the fact you're getting above this candle. I like even more so you're getting above this 273.69 with this gap up. I don't see any real news on it, so maybe a sympathy to I know we had like CRM report yesterday. Maybe a couple other companies maybe had some snow, probably actually a little bit more related to snow. Let's go with that one. But it is still getting a gap up because CRM got a little bit crushed. Snow actually killed it a little bit, so I think it's probably more sympathy to that. But the problem with this one for me is I like this location a lot. However, you do have resistance right at 279. You also have another resistance 280.77. I can't confidently say that we're going to break through it. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But for me, I'd be patient. If I get a little retracement, I don't think I want to see us retrace this 268.09. I don't want to see that full retest because then we got more work to do to the upside. But if we're stalling out, we get a little pullback 274, 273.99, somewhere in that zone. You might have a decent push, $7, $8 move higher from there. So probably play that bracket. If you can get above, if you get some closing above 280, technically your next stop is 294.33, but probably not for today with that 200 and a few other levels to probably try to hold us back. So it might be a little range bounds on that one. Otherwise, it is a interesting looking gap. Now we'll see if we can hold it. We got app APP. I'm down with APP. Yeah, you know me. Uh, Fuzzy Bear or whatever, Fuzzy Panda. Well, Fonzie Bear was from where? Was it like House of Rock or something? The Muppets. Was that Fonzie? You have AppLovin obviously getting killed on that one yesterday. Again, almost a 50% discount from February 13th. We got kind of close to it. We needed probably another $40. Very, very close to it. Everyone loved it here. Everyone hated it here, especially if you're a fuzzy panda. But good high wave candle, great volume. Technically a retest. You still have, I don't know if they had any reports that kind of negated the news that came out pre-market yesterday. I think you have a decent amount of room for a bullish trade on this one, although I would love to see this retest first. But this is 363.36 is our first one. Otherwise, you got 378. Oh yeah, Fozzie Bear. That's his name, Fozzie. 378.17 would probably be a stretch target for today with the potential to get to like 383.10. So there's some room back to the higher side. But I think I would love to see I'd be okay if we saw this 331.29. I would like to see this level hold, to be honest. So somewhere around 339.69, small pullback, high wave candle at open, and then you might have a shot in that just little rebounds, close that gap up type sentiment. Let's put that one a little bit higher. We got Hood was running this morning. I saw nice little gap up. Also, retest gap from yesterday, technically. Good close yesterday, so lots of volume from 2 days ago. Nice little high wave candle. We closed right at the highs. The bulls were able to push this thing past it. Again, watch the level of 52.55 on this one. So you're opening into some type of decent, okay resistance. If Coinbase can start to push again, that should be decent for bulls to try to hop back in. Hood has a lot of momentum in it. This is a pullback, one, two, three, four, five, six candles in a row. Makes me want to pull out that fib tool. So I think we got this, something like this. There we go. Something to that extent. If this was drawn correctly, that'd be nice. Let's see. Go a little lower. So you have your 30% retracement, probably a little resistance there, 52.68. Otherwise, VPOC is at 55.40, and essentially that will take you into your 50% retracement. So if we do have a decently bullish day today, or crypto Bitcoin starts to bounce a little bit, I would assume that maybe get above that 20, maybe some of that resistance we could kind of take out and look for that little bit of a higher target. That would be about $4 higher. So on a $50 stock, that's not bad. I'm gonna watch that one closely. I'll see what kind of candles that one gives me throughout the day. If there's a way for me to play it bullish, would love to see again maybe a high wave candle. I don't same thing as the other stock. I don't technically the retest is 48.48. I don't and that might be a decent one. It's still at the high of this higher volume selling candle. I kind of don't want it to get there. I kind of want it to just stall out somewhere around 50.64. Stay above that psychological 50 number. We'll see. Mike says, sorry, joined a few minutes late. Disregard if we've already looked at CRM. Well, today, Mike, is your lucky day. We have not looked at CRM, so we could do that as a team. I waited for you. Yeah, no, they were pushing me. They're all like, hey, can we look at CRM? I was like, nah, Mike's not here. We can't do it yet. So they had earnings. They beat on earnings per share by 6.53. They also missed by revenue by 47 million. I don't think their guidance was that great. Otherwise, I don't think the report was too bad. So I probably a little bit over. So it actually kind of came back a little bit from where we were after hours. Yeah. So we actually got all the way down to 275.87. I think that was a little bit far extended and stretched for this one. So they managed to come back a little bit. Not a great location on this daily to open. And I'm gonna actually flip back to the 5 minute in a second too. But yep, you did have a high wave candle bouncing right off that 200. Pretty decent spot if you're trying to take a stab at this one to go long. See if you can sit through earnings and have a nice little win, and all of a sudden you're losing after that report comes out. So not great on this one. I think it probably does have a little bit more sell pressure on it, just based on the location. technically a retest gap as well, but you do have, I think this retest probably gets you into like 299.49 if you get that high. Otherwise, to the downside, we'd have to probably look at that monstrosity of a sell-off on that first candle. You have your 200 on a 5 minute. This is why I wanted to go back. So you do have your 200 EMA holding you down. You have a previous VPOC 308.65. You kind of also retested that already. So I think if you get a little breakdown on this one, I'd see if it breaks first. See if this breaks first, and then you get that retest into here. You might have a decent trade to go bearish and stop somewhere maybe above this last pivot. So I think you have a decent room for risk, and your reward probably back down onto this 290 zone. 290, or if you sell a little bit more, maybe hop into that, right? I don't know if this one you probably could get a 1.2 into 290. This one, probably looking for like a 2R if you could kind of push your stops down a little bit and hang in for a little bit more. But that 275, I think, was a little far extended. However, the higher we could get some kind of a bounce, the better on that short. But I don't think I'd be playing it for a bullish direction today. Yeah, sweet, what was it? Sweet garden, sweet water, sweet green, sweet something. Not so sweet for the investors. They did miss by a lot. 16% miss on earnings per share. They did miss by $1 million. $1 million. If they miss four more times like that, that's enough to for somebody to buy the American Trump Gold Card and be a U.S. citizen. And that's kind of a wild fact now. But you do have a miss on $1 million. Not a great open. You have a level of support here. I think this one is playable continuation to the bear side. I don't think I'd be buying this one. Uh, never ate there more. Never ate there more of a meat eater. Oh, I think you're trying to say, let me hold on, I gotta rejumble a lot of those words. You are a meat eater, so you never ate there, is I think how that translates. All right, got you. Yep. Yeah, no, I've never been. I quite honestly don't even know where Sweet Green is. hmm But yeah, I thought we had Fozzie Bear in the chat for a second. That was this. That's how he would say that too. But Sweet Green, yeah, I think playing this one to the bearish direction makes a lot of sense. Let me get this one actually added to the list. I don't know how much room it is. I've never traded this one. Just I've traded this one as many times as I've eaten there too. So at least there's some consistency, but it does look like some pretty sad bulls today at this open. And I actually thought this one was selling off a little bit more pre-market or after hours, I mean. Yeah, so this one kind of came back too. And you're throwing in a current reversal candle. And you got some downside. So watch the current VPOC $20.88. I think if you start breaking through that, especially with a reversal into that 200 on a 5 minute, you might have some more downward pressure, but I'd have to see if that thing could break down first. But not great earnings. The only thing difference with CRM is CRM actually came up and it retested this 23.38 first, and we've already kind of run into that VPOC. This one really hasn't. So if this one wants to go up there, okay, maybe a better spot to short. But reversal hammer 200, get back below the current VPOC. I think you have room to the downside. Mm, we'll see. Spreads bad? Maybe. All right, we got Caterpillar. Caterpillar is chilling. Nothing really crazy. Yeah, not a lot of edge. I think you have better risk reward as a bull on this one. So probably support. You're looking for 341.63. If you could get your stops, maybe on the 339.03. There might be something there. And then you're probably running this one. However I design this trade, I'd be looking to get out like 346.38 on this one. But inside candle, so nothing too crazy. Let me see. I think I missed like a bunch. Sound, SOUN. Soundhound, nice little push to $10.27. But keep in mind they do have earnings tonight after the bell. So is it gonna be a sweet green type setup tomorrow, or are we gonna get a snowflake type move? I don't know. I'm not sure, but I like this gap because I do have the 750 put sales that I sold. I think I got another, I don't know, maybe week on those, something like that. Other than that, you are approaching a little bit of resistance. Technically a retest gap, but pretty decent move. I think you're if you can get through this, which there'll be some resistance around $10.33. Ultimately, I think a run up, and then they do have earnings, so we've seen stocks run up into earnings. I think possibly today you get to this 10.79, and then we have to watch it for after hours. So just know where you're at on this one. Otherwise, technically a retest gap, but the fact you're breaking this candle is pretty impressive. So just watch that 10.33 first. If you get through it, you should have a little bit more room, another 40 cents, something like that, to $10.79. Not bad on that one. And if it gets some run up, fantastic. You got Meta. I think with SoundHound, I don't think the earnings are going to matter. I think they're going to matter a little bit, but I think the any questions or how they kind of if they bring up Nvidia, if they talk about how that Nvidia's at all affecting their business or anything like that, I think that's going to be your key points to that one. But Meta is chilling for now. Retest gap. You are also opening at a resistance. I'd see if there's chop at open. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. If it's a straight green shot up and it runs and closes past 685.22, this one can be off to the races. You got 696.57. Would rather see a high wave candle or a pullback into 679.55. But so far so good, and you are dealing with that 20 EMA that is slightly above you. So we'll see how this one opens because Meta does have the wild opens to it. I'm expecting a little chop, so if I see anything different, that'd be more interesting. But otherwise, you have probably a small little chop, maybe get that pullback 679.03, and we'll see if we go from there. Palantir. Not bad on this one. In a weird way, I think this might get a little reaction off of SoundHound today. Maybe. Oh. But we're holding that 50 EMA. Yesterday we did establish a VPOC higher, so slightly to the bullish side. There's our open. Watch for resistance 93.20. Anything above that, you could see a good day to 101.02. Otherwise, that is the morning opening bell. So everybody on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe buttons if you have not done so already. Otherwise, you guys are awesome, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I don't know.